And today's editorial has to do with ongoing conversations. I mean, social media, this week there's been too many things happening, unfortunate news, bad news and all that. But one of them that's actually taking center stage also has to do with Shatta Wale and EOCO. That's Ghanaian dancehall artist Shatta Wale and then EOCO. Now, this is how it started. So Shatta Wale apparently shared a message on Facebook calling out the boss of EOCO, that's Remo Acha, and saying that, listen, why would you do this? You are the reason why the NDC and President Obama will lose elections, blah, blah, blah. Too many things. And that raised a bit of eyebrow. People were like, what's happening? Because for Shatta and EOCO, I mean, how? But apparently something was happening, and eventually EOCO had to release a statement because they've had some interactions with Shatta Wale. Now, that's when people realized that, oh, okay. So that's why Shatta Wale went out, all out, gun blazing on social media with some of his comments. Now, one of the things he said was that he doesn't understand why Raymond Acha will send his men to his home wielding guns and all that, and that he was disappointed about that. He said so many things. Now, in the evening of that same day, EOCO actually released a statement. That's the Economic Organized Crime, Office. They released a statement, and the statement detailed what exactly had been happening between both parties, that Shatta Wale and then EOCO. And I want to read the statement. This is why I want to do that, because there's been reports. So many people are saying, why did he buy a stolen car? Why did he buy a stolen car? He bought a stolen car. He bought a stolen car. But that is not the fact. And that is not the truth. Per the statement that was released by EOCO, it had nothing to do with Shatta Wale buying a stolen vehicle or buying a stolen Lamborghini or buying a stolen car. That has not come into the conversation per what EOCO has released. And I think that's where I want to set the facts right. If you read the statement that was released by EOCO on August 5, 2025, that's at 6:31 p.m. and the classification was public release, signed by Acting Executive Director. Now it says, in June this year, the Economic and Organized Crime Office, acting on a 2023 request from the Federal Bureau of Investigations, that's FBI, and the United States Justice Department, undertook an operation which led to a lawful search, keyword, lawful search, in a home at Trasaco Valley Phase 1 in Accra. Now, that apparently has to do with, some individuals. And, of course, we know which individuals that are. Now, it says the operation, which was undertaken by the Surveillance and Asset Recovery Unit of EOCO, led to the discovery and seizure of a 2019 Lamborghini Urus, which the FBI and the Justice Department have tied to the proceeds of the criminal enterprise of one Nana Kwabena Amua, who is currently serving an 86-month sentence for several financial crimes in the US. So the key word is that the Lamborghini that was retrieved from Shatta Wale's house is tied to the proceeds of a criminal enterprise. The vehicle or the car is tied to the proceeds of a criminal enterprise. Okay? And it says the car was seized from one Charles Niama, aka Shatta Wale. The officers were professional and civil, and the search and seizure occurred without any incident. Niama had pleaded with authorities or the officers that he did not want the seizure to be made public because the vehicle was a big part of his brand, and that if his supporters saw the vehicle being driven away in the company of EOCO, it would destroy his brand. Niama was allowed to surrender the vehicle himself, which is currently in the possession of EOCO. It is a standard safety protocol practice for officers of the Surveillance and Asset Recovery Unit to carry weapons whilst on operation for the safety of officers. The FBI and the Justice Department intend to send a formal mutual legal assistance to the government of Ghana to return the car to the United States as part of Nana Kwabena Amua's 4.7 million restitution. Charles Niama, aka Shatta Wale, and the former senior officer of the National Signal Bureau have been assessed as persons of interest and will be invited by EOCO to assist in further ongoing investigations in the coming days. EOCO may share the final investigations report to the FBI and the Justice Department as part of our ongoing cooperation. So, if you listen to or if you read the statement that was released by EOCO, there's nothing in these set of facts that suggests that Shatta Wale bought a stolen vehicle. So the conversation about Shatta Wale buying a stolen vehicle is out of the way. The whole argument is that Shatta Wale is involved in a property that was acquired through a fraudulent practice. So hold on, the name that was mentioned, Nanamua, this individual is serving prison sentence in the USA for criminal offenses. Now, when you talk about proceeds of a criminal offense, it could be through fraud, it could be money laundering, it could be drug trafficking. So what happens is that if somebody gets himself involved in drug trafficking or money laundering or fraud, he makes all the money, and what he does is that they want to diversify. It is kind of when you because a fraud seeker, no person will be able to say fraud. So before I realize, no, I started see real estates, no talkers, no towe, no away, so that people think, oh, he has businesses. That's how come the person is able to do all these things. But what happens is that once we are able to establish, say, no money scanner was through fraud, and I was through a crime or a criminal enterprise. What they have to do is that they will access all those things and take all of them from you, especially in this case where the person who is serving sentence in the US is supposed to pay restitution of about $4.7 million. So what happens is that any asset and the panel will be it will be confiscated. The government will have to confiscate all those things and either take it back, sell it and take it back, or take it back for them to sell it. So when people say Shatta Wale has bought a stolen vehicle or stolen car, that's not the point. He's not bought a stolen car, but he actually bought a product from somebody or the criminals and our crime seeker a toy. Inti say Betty hey, maybe Mr. Bones, the car be Ghana. Oh, can't hear me from so Mr. Bones metal. But my name say Mr. Bones kwa fraud no yes kadeto sa car. And I may matter can free no. So I am not involved in the criminal offense of proceeds of the crime no. But then I bought something from him, not knowing say he got the money from fraud and or the toy. So that's Shatta Wale's point now. But then again, there's a criminal offense of dishonestly receiving in our laws. Criminal offense of dishonestly receiving, which is according to the Criminal and Other Offences Act. And I want to read some portions of it. Section 147(1) says that dishonestly receiving, I'm trying to explain what it means. It says a person is guilty of dishonestly receiving any property which he knows to have been obtained or appropriated by any crime if he receives, buys, or in any manner assists in the disposal of such property otherwise than with the purpose of restoring it to the owner. So company be almost on cement. And now obi akoyi cement ni be free o nim say ni pan adwuma o ya no oh you see I see a loady cement 50 bags eko ha omo loady no and omo loady cement bags 100 but omo people so near the normal cho ebia 50 because him say 50 they was eko then obi ti abonti a o twen say 50 no na abane ho ni aton ma na bia cement bag ba ko 100 Ghana cedis by aton ma 50 Ghana cedis onim de omo ye. So he's honestly receiving those properties which he doesn't intend to give back to the real owner. So if you find yourself in such a situation, then you are dishonestly receiving. And the key point here is that if you are aware of the situation, so the point is, did Shatta Wale know say car na or tono and now only across to car ni free no hono or the fraudulent money and a toss our car? If he knew, then he could be cited for dishonestly receiving. Again, obi timi korea obi phone, iPhone him say actually latest iPhone there just $1,000 and $2,000. No obi dia about so chale me ton iPhone or latest model so say also more than 500 Ghana cedis na me farm out. And the normal circumstance, you know that that iPhone shouldn't cost 500 Ghana cedis. But what? Because we feel so when you're not bought for. Obviously, the person might have stolen it. And the point is, you might also be charged for dishonestly receiving. And you know what is even sad about this? The punishment for it. It says that whoever dishonestly receives any property which he knows to have been obtained or appropriated by any offense punishable under this chapter shall be liable to the same punishment as if he had committed the offense. Into one oje no. Any nipa na okoye sa crime no. Munyina mo punishment ye pay. That's what it is. So I just want us to lay the points. Shatta Wale did not buy a fraud, did not buy a friend is saying a stolen car. The car was not stolen. The car was acquired by Onyakonanamu and Azame or Shemo US. So that person bought the car, but Shatta Wale bought it from that person or somebody else who perhaps had also bought it from that person. Into a process of criminal enterprise. Into when one person starts it, will be quiet fraud, no nyeska no atoka. Now koto. Now see a chili pan and we realize that scandal or the toss our car, it was through crime. You have a can if you. Even in commercial law, there's something called caveat emptor and caveat vandito, like or caveat vandito as others call it. It tells you that buyer beware. So as a buyer, you need to look out for certain things because one yana assemble who one here asubeshi. So that settles it. For me, if I were to advise Shatta Wale, I'll tell him to calm down, go to the EOCO and cooperate with them. Umpe lawyer, go there and deal with this issue. But the rants and all that he's doing on social media, because you see, Agrada, for instance, Agrada case here called Courty. Do you know some of the evidence that normal no share on social media? Because she was leaving digital footprints. So we need to be careful. So when I saw Shatta Wale go live on TikTok and saying so many things, I was like, listen, why are you going to implicate yourself in some of these things? Legal issues, you don't go and sit on TikTok and rant and solve a shame out. EOCO is an established body who are allowed to do investigations. They have partners all over the world, like the FBI, the US Justice Department. So if they say we are inviting you, go with your lawyer, go and listen to whatever it is they want to say. But to go on social media and say, blah blah blah, these are all things that might end up implicating him. So if Shatta Wale will listen to me, mini car, mini swimming pool, me fee, mini houses, but at least a footwork cram it media man say, Shatta Wale, the rants on social media will not solve the issue. Get your lawyers, go to EOCO, listen to what the issues are and find a way to deal with it. Because for me, and from where I sit, if the facts per the statement that EOCO has released, if that is the exact details or what it is, then I don't think Shatta Wale is actually involved in any crime. The only thing is Ebia can no mejiako. That's all I think. Omaji se can no mapake or moyad. And they are making plans to either take it back. That is going to be the only thing. Then maybe he finds a way to retrieve his money from whoever he bought it from. But to rant on social media, it will not solve anything. That's my rant for the morning, and that's my editorial. Let me get to Mr. Bones. You've heard the whole conversation. You've read the statement.